And yeah, I know you gotta love that music. And guys, if you didn't know, that's actually Andy Lopez, the Invisible Gardener, our good friend, wrote our that music, not for our intro, but that's one of the pieces that he's wrote. So if you guys go to his SoundCloud, you can find the Invisible Gardener on SoundCloud and check out his music there. But and I'm your host, Ken Somerville, my co-host, Andy Lopez, the Invisible Gardener, with his wonderful music. Today we're talking about seed collecting and saving. So, Andy, we all need to really, be growing our own seed and saving it. And for myself, I haven't been doing it. You've been doing it for decades. Share some of your secrets with us.
I have a seed bank. My
Yes.
biggest problem is I think I'm going to, when I die, I'm going to take the seeds with me in the crate, put all the seeds in there and close the thing up, That's the biggest
See what
problem.
blooms.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem I had. Is like, I just have too many seeds because once you get really good at, if I'm a long time ago, I started buying things from around the world, right?
Yeah.
Tomatoes from different parts of the world. And so what's really cool when you grow them and they grow in your soil, they will be acclimated a little bit when they grow. So if you take that same seed and grow it again, they get acclimated again and then acclimated again. And each time you're going to pull out, right, the one that you really like the most. So you're doing selective growing, right?
Well,
You know what I mean?
you're only, if you're doing tomatoes every year and like 3 different types of
You're going to say
tomatoes,
that
and
one.
you're picking the one you like.
Yeah.
You're breeding. You're
Yeah, you're gonna
breeding
say, oh,
tomatoes.
that one. I did one year. I had about 4 different types of tomatoes.
Yep.
And I set them down, and people would always go to this one tomato, and they didn't touch the other 3. As a matter of fact, nobody wanted to eat the other 3. No matter even if they were grown organically, they still had very low Brix levels. These guys over here, in the same area, the same garden, everything, had like a 32, and these guys like a 23. 23 is not bad, but 32 on the Brix level is like really up there. And people, of course, and so I've learned that it's important how you not only dry the seeds. I go about that when I go to paper bags of safe seeds, testing some germination before fall. Yeah, man.
Right on, David. That's perfect to have those. And okay, you guys are growing tomatoes. There's a tomato called Mortgage Lender.
No,
the
I
guy
haven't.
that developed that tomato, he paid off his mortgage by growing that tomato and selling the seeds. That's why he called it what he called it. Amazing story.
The only thing I would say about paper bags that you have to really be careful not to squish them. So ideally, you can put inside a cardboard box, keep them there. A paper bags are good because it breathes, it allows the seeds. That's one of the things about you do not want to put freshly dried seeds in plastic bags.
That's fresh. I think what David has is that's his long-term storage is probably in paper bags. Right. But yeah, you never dry that way. Yeah. They gotta have air movement.
Yeah, that paper. I still have paper bags with seeds. I actually have a box. I treat them like what I did was I bought a container for gems. I'm also a gemologist, so they have these cute little boxes that you can put them in. Because I also have a very wide. I explained it to people before, but maybe not. I have a very wide collection of Mary Jane seeds. I've been growing for a long time. Again, you can only save these things for so long, but I have. Every time I attempted to grow, they do sprout, so I'm doing good. So I have almost every kind of tomato. Right. Another thing that's interesting too is a friend of mine. Her name was Olivia Newton-John. She's a friend of mine, but she died recently. And John, her husband, are world travelers. And John sells vitamins, pills, or vitamin mixtures that he gets from where he goes. Sells them, and Olivia goes along. So they came back one year and they gave me these seeds from Peru. They're inside little. I don't think it'll do you any good to show it because it probably disappear. But I should take a picture of it, and I could have done a slide of it. But basically, they had sealed them, and each individual thing with labels on it, and that is priceless because there's 5 different types of corn alone that has not been grown in the United States ever.
Cool.
I grew 4 or 5 of it on her property. The seeds were like this. I mean, the stalk was like this.
Yeah, massive.
That tall. I'm 6 foot, so this is like 7 or 8 foot up here. The corn
Yeah.
itself was about that big. Okay, that big.
Yeah.
That big, and it was I don't. It wasn't red, but it was like ruby color, really. And that was the corn, and that was the
Yeah.
first time that was ever grown in the United States. Uh, I'm pretty sure because this is from when they were traveling in Peru. They had this guys on the side selling those things to other people, and they bought
Yeah.
2 packets of it, and they each bought one to give to me because they didn't do it at the same time. So he bought one, and then they say, well,
That's like the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing.
right,
They're both
yeah,
spending money.
I have a present for Andy. So do I. Oh, the same. So they gave me
So,
both of them. And I started to grow a little bit here. There are all kinds of grains, all
Yeah.
kinds of nut seeds as well, and there's all kinds of little. You never know what weirdest names. You're gonna go. That's a
is
but,
that a fruit, vegetable, or a flower?
so I have on my seed bank. I have a wide range of radishes from around the world.
Cool.
Oh, one of the things about it's interesting when you're doing seeds, you always want to try to get a really cool sources. So do you guys remember the Whole Foods catalog? Oh, is it the Whole Foods catalog or the whole world? The whole world catalog is the world catalog. You're a hippie. You're a hippie. You can't say you're not. It's the excuse me. I got it.
Because I have gray hair, I'm a hippie. Actually,
I got it.
I have the long hair too.
So do I. See, I'm trying to grow my hair. I can't do anything with my hair after I wash it. It's called the Whole Earth Catalog.
Okay. Yeah. And Terry Crafty here. Thank you. The Whole Earth. Yeah. So I've never actually heard of that, Andy, because
I beat you by a second. I beat you by a second, Terry. No, you haven't. Yeah. Maybe it's because you're in Canada. But
it could be that, or it could be that I was a truck driver for 20 years.
Yeah, that would be it. Because the Whole Earth catalog really covered the whole Earth. It was really cool. But these people, they have a catalog, not the same name, but it's something close to it. I remember. I wish I knew what it was, which has amazing amounts of seeds from all over the place that people grow organic.
Cool.
So that's one of the things you want to do. And by the way, if you all want to learn how to get more and more from different parts of the world, or even connect, because I have the book. I moved 4 times, so I know I have the book. And you can actually buy it. It's like a Whole Earth catalog. You can buy it in the stores when it comes out once a year. What I did is I signed up for a delivery, right? They mail it to me, a subscription. So there's quite a I'm going to start a list of all different places. But ideally, all I have to do is say rare exotic seeds or seeds from around the world. You're going to find out. So you can ship seeds anywhere in the world as long as there's no soil in it, none of that plant stuff. But the seeds you can't. And also for me, I'm also willing to exchange. I don't know if we can do a seed exchange. I'm going to a gardening club pretty soon in November, organic gardening club. I take some seeds with me. All right, who wants this? So I have some really, really weird. I have my favorite is a giant sunflower, the giant moonflower. I also have giant sunflower seeds. I entered in the organic gardening magazine in early I forget 60s. And they had the giant sunflower contest. So when you had the sunflower, it was like that, and you take and you allow. There's a right way to dry it and a wrong way to dry it. But you can basically you have to let the tree or the plant mature. If you cut it too soon, the seeds are going to be bad. It's just going to go no good. So basically, you leave it on the plant and you put a paper bag over it so the animals will get it. I tried to save some sunflower seeds just last year. A bunch of like 20 parrots came by, and it was like, "Thank you," and it was no seeds.
Yeah,
right.
The birds will get them, especially if it's going to be a hard winter. But I didn't know you could ship seeds anywhere in the world.
Oh, yeah,
cool.
Yeah. You can get seeds from. Excuse me. That's the only way you can't ship the plants.
Yes.
Around the world, you can't ship dried version of it because it won't do any good. Is the seeds. And so there are many companies that will sell you stuff. You can buy things from. And nowadays, it's really easy. Sometimes it's not expensive because these seeds are not. They don't weigh.
Do we know that this is organic seed?
Yeah. That's what you want, right? That's what you want, right? You and a lot of times when you're dealing with other countries that don't have any organic standards, it makes sense to talk to you can They sometimes have websites that you can go to and says these are, like, for example, I was talking to really cool people from China. They have uh, white jasmine tea,
Cool.
golden lotus tea. So they don't have to. And I say, because I saw them here, they were having a little show, and I talked to them. I says, "Well, how come it's not certified organic? We don't have organic certification in our country."
No.
Well, we do, but well, we don't use chemicals. We don't use chemical fertilizers. It's almost impossible for us to buy chemicals or chemical fertilizers because this is a village somewhere, and they just can't. So they grow it according to the way it's been done for centuries. They don't
Yeah,
need that stuff. They grow it really, really, very nice. And you just have to know the growers.
that's
Otherwise,
right.
if you're buying from a lot of times, not just China, but every other country in the world that doesn't have standards, you don't know what you're getting, and quite often you're getting toxic seeds that they would never allow you to use in the United States, and that they like a Roundup Ready seeds.
Yeah.
But that is an initial problem, and so I always learn to when I grow seeds, no matter what they say online or whatever, because there's no way to prove it. I don't really want to be too excited about the plant. I will grow it, and then from there pick one or two that did really well, and that's what I would start to work with, as opposed to just automatically grow and eat it. Right?
Well, yeah, I think even 1 or 2 years,
Right.
probably your third season, that the
Yeah.
plant's going to be more acclimatized to your
That's right.
area.
That's right.
And because you're growing with biology, it's
That's
the
right.
biology is going to help actually recreate the proper genetic code in its
So
progeny.
I grew up in Florida, South Florida.
Right.
So in my early days of the Visible Gardener, which was like 1970, because when I went in the service and I came back, I ended up living in Gainesville, Florida, and
Mhm.
I always had a big garden. It's sort of like a miniature farm. Sometimes I lived in a tent, sometimes I lived in a tree house. I'm still in the process of looking for that little miniature farm that I can buy and live on. But what happened? Oh yeah, I almost forgot. So I ended up in South Florida, homestead on a
Yeah.
14,000 acre avocado ranch. My biggest problem,
Cool.
and I had about 5 acres, so a little tiny little guest house I was able to rent. And I started nothing growing outside, but I had like 10 raised beds all the way around it.
Mhm.
There's a place you can see it from the air, and I would grow things over throughout. So I grew a lot throughout the years, and that's why I was saying about tomatoes and whatever plant you grow them when you first get them, they're not very acclimated because you get them from Japan or Ireland or where they're going to go, what the heck is this, right? What is going on here? It could be the too cold, too hot, wrong amount of light, all kinds of things. The soil stuff could be radically different, but it
Yeah.
usually is, right, from where it's come from. So a lot of times what I would do is I do an intermediate stage. I don't grow it directly like now. I don't do it directly in the ground. I start them in containers. I buy the best container soil that I can get alive, let them grow there, see if I can get them to grow. Once they start growing, then I move them out into the ground because they're a little bit stronger to take it. Even then, you got to
Yeah.
baby them. You have to baby them because it's not the kind of soil that they want. So you want to sort of look into a little bit where they come from. You can see the climate. Is it a
Well,
wet
yeah, because
climate?
okay, I'm in Canada now. If I'm buying seeds out of Japan,
Right.
that doesn't have our kind of weather, it's going to take those a couple of
Right.
seasons to stabilize that plant for the new environment. But okay, let's talk about actually saving the seeds. Now, you mentioned for the sunflower seeds, the paper bag. Would that be what a person would do to save?
So
Like,
there,
tell me
it,
how. I don't know how.
it really depends on your sun sign, what sign you are, whether you're Libra, Capricorn, Aquarius, because they all have very radical different ways of protecting the seeds. So the basic idea is you wanted the air can flow through,
Okay.
but not the creatures. So there's a bunch of things that I have used in my years. Like I don't mind using what is it? The coffee burlap bags. I think it is. The coffee
Okay.
beans come in it, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah. Burlap or jute.
right.
Is it?
They breathe through. I don't like
Yeah.
you do not want to use plastic. You do not want to
Oh
use
no, never. Yeah.
something that is really weird like that. You can use a paper bag and sort of tie it around the paper bag. It's
Okay,
nice. It
so
works.
let's get the reason why we're
Air.
doing that. You have to have proper airflow
Yeah.
to dry the seeds. Now,
Yeah.
you're and it doesn't matter, guys, what type of plant we're dealing with when you're drying the seeds. So your tomato, you get the seeds out of the tomato, you have to dry them, and you can buy special racks, etc.
Right.
But remember, biology can only grow and populate and do good and bad when there's enough water. When we dry the seeds, we're taking
Right.
that water away.
Right. We
Then
were
the
talking about that.
biology cannot do anything. They have to go to sleep. So then your seed can stay fresh.
This is a normal cycle. When you have
Yes.
a plant, when a plant puts out seeds, they get all the water they need while they're growing and all that stuff. But then in order for the seeds to repopulate, they have to dry up a little bit. They usually dry up and they fall off, right? And they fall on the ground and they're ready to start again, because then it depends on whether you have moisture or not. So if the environment says it's not going to rain until, then you're not going to grow until it starts to rain. The other thing that's really important to remember is that when there's a time to pick the plant, and there's a time to not to pick it. So if you pick it too early and the seeds haven't fully matured, your seeds are bad. The same thing with Mary Jane.
That's something I wanted to ask, because we actually had I want to say a lily that the seed pods broke, the whole branch broke, and it's still fairly early in the season, but it was, the flowers are done, and the pod broke, and we just took it up onto the deck and we set it down so it's out in the open air. But is it too early, do you think, for those seeds to dry properly?
For your climate right now, it's getting colder and colder, right?
It's starting to. We don't normally get the cold for another month, maybe two.
So I don't know too much about your area, because a lot depends on the weather.
Oh,
I know
peony.
I can talk about peony. I can talk about in Miami, Florida. I can talk about California.
Yeah.
Both are radically different during the same time of year, right?
I think what we have to talk about is the generalization for all plants. I think for that peonies, I think it was too early. I don't think the seeds were fully developed inside at this time of year.
Right. In Florida, there's a different time of year.
Oh,
even in Costa Rica, there'll be a different time of year. So in California, it'll be a different time of year. They're not key to the specific time of year for everybody. It has a lot to do where on the planet they are at that time that they're growing.
And I think the plant too, because there's some plants that bloom first thing in the spring.
Right.
They do their flower and then they're done in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And that plant would have the seed for that was done, but actually that's a bulb. So I don't think the bulbs
it's all keyed into the temperature of the soil. When I lived in Boulder, Colorado, it would start to get cold like January, February. I mean, it was cold. It was actually cold November, October, or somewhere in there. It was already starting to get cold. And
we've had snow in October that stayed for the winter.
Exactly right. So the soil would be very cold, and that triggers whether or not they need to just stay asleep before, when it has to be at least in the 70s before everybody starts to wake up. It really depends on the plants and stuff. Also, too, I was going to say, one of the things that I started to do in Colorado and in Austin is to grow in a greenhouse. And I still do here. In a greenhouse, you have much more control of the temperature. You have much more control of how you can regulate your seeds and grow seeds and save them. It's a lot harder if you have them outside. So if you do them in a greenhouse, you can literally grow plants just to get seeds. I have one plant outside, which is a very ancient weed. I have one plant, but it's going like that full. It's going to be full of seeds. That'll make maybe 100 of them I planted. Yeah. My idea is to grow my own wheat. And so I'm also doing saffron, I'm doing
Cool.
black garlic, black garlic. So I'm getting black blah blah big and rooted.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, smack. Okay, now you're back.
So I got black garlic from one part of the world, black garlic from another part, and black garlic from another part, and another about 4 or 5 different parts of the world to sell the black garlic. Let's back at the seeds. So none of them are all going to be able to grow, come up at the same time and whatever. So I have to do a little bit of time in containers. I have to figure out the type of soil that they should be growing in because I can't stick them in the ground here. So I try to simulate the kind of environment they would have,
Yeah.
And if I
Well,
should
and
stick
that's where I love the cannabis industry because they're trying to grow from all corners of our planet that produce seeds, and guys are trying to find just tune that right environment in for that particular, like, was it from Afghanistan? Is it from Jamaica?
right,
And
right.
we can use this in our vegetables, but for greenhouses, man, I had a beautiful greenhouse covered in plastic. My cats love to climb plastic. Greenhouse don't last too good, man.
So I did a greenhouse not in plastic, okay?
Yeah. I need a glass one. Yeah.
Well, mine was you can see through. It was some kind of thick plastic that you can see through,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
cover it up. But it is so. When you were talking about Mary Jane Wana, I've been growing that since since the 70s and the hippie days. I grew it outside, of course, and it was illegal.
Yeah. It's just another plant.
Yeah, it's just another
face
plant.
it.
Most people don't even know what it looks like. In
Yeah.
University of Florida, I went there. And I want to get off the subject, but it still has to do with seeds because I started a collection of hop seeds and a collection of Mary Jane seeds. I started growing both plants, and I would harvest their seeds from them. My idea was to merge the two together somehow. I wanted to have marijuana beer. So the best way is to have a hops plant and a marijuana plant, breed it together. So you have this, and I did. You have this vine that the hops normally have this vine and the hops hang down. Well, this would be the buds hanging down. It's true.
Well, you do realize that cannabis and Mary Jane, whether whatever it is, the breed came from hops.
Yeah.
That's where the actual plant, that was its lineage.
Yeah. Why do you think I chose that? Why do you think
it's amazing?
Also, too, if you look at the seeds, you could not tell the difference. I can say which one is which. You will look at it.
Okay.
And so what I did, because they look identical, I would cut one seed in half, the other seed, I put them together. That doesn't work.
No,
trust me, it doesn't work.
No, grafting works.
So what happens is I learned I would grow one vine in the plant. The two had to be the same diameter.
Yeah.
So one is a vine, one is a plant. So I had to experiment with, okay, who goes on top and who goes on the bottom, right? And so I ended up with the indica base with the root system and the hops vine. And also too, different varieties work differently as well. So you have many different kinds of hops and many different types of indica. Sometimes you just can't do two. It took me a long time to find the variety that liked each other. You graft them together and it will grow as a vine. First year, it would be it looked like a hops vine, a little funny. It would have the marijuana leaves, but you tested it. It didn't have any THC. The FDA or the DEA or FDA, I think it was the DEA, because I was growing it with the University of Florida in Gainesville. My idea was, and that's when I did agriculture. I got bored with regular agriculture, so I said, I want to do it. And so they said, okay, you can grow it, but we'll have to test the THC level.
Yeah.
And also the plant was totally legal. This plant's totally legal. We have no laws against this thing that you're growing there. And so the second year, I would take. So what you have to do in order to increase the THC level is you have the plant, you have the main mother plant, the root system. Every year you have to regraft a new hops vine onto it.
Yeah.
And that means you grow indoors, because if you grow in the wintertime, the plants will die, right? So you want to grow them in an environment where they keep growing. And by the third or fourth year, I think it was the fourth year, well, now it's illegal because the THC level is beyond what's legal. The plant is totally illegal, and we grew it in the front of the college, because it was a vine. Nobody knew what it was.
Yeah.
But what I had to do is I had to go through many generations of seeds to make that work. Because I have friends who want to do it, but they just take this seed and that's it put together and go, that's not going to work. Because you have to find the right varieties that sort of commingle together. When I was in,
well, it's got to be genetically really close for that to actually propagate, and keep growing.
Right.
But let's get back to seeds and
I was talking about
drying
seeds.
and storing seeds.
I was talking about seeds. So it's important to allow the seeds to fully mature before you allow them to dry. It's important not to let them dry in the sun. You don't want to expose them to a high heat and burn them up. So it has to be
now hold on. But if we're drying them on the plant,
no. So that's the thing. So you have to wait until they are mature, right? When you know they're mature, you cut them and then you hang them up and you put the thing around it.
Okay. So you're not actually drying the seeds on the plant.
No, you don't have to do that. Right.
Okay.
That's a tough one.
Do you want to do that? Is that something that you could do?
Well, the ideal thing to do is if you dry them on, because you're going to have normally the seeds drop off. Normally seeds are either dropped off, they're blown up, and they end up in an environment where they'll be taken care of until they grow. Leaving them out there, they will. If you don't know when to pick them, because you can do it, you can wrap it up there and keep an eye on them. When is the time? It could be at any moment. You have to cut it, but just when they're at the right time. Because too long they're dried out, too soon. But if you know how to,
how do you know? Like if I'm looking at say a wheat seed, a wheat stem, it's yay high, it's all fluffy. How do I know when I should cut it and hang it upside down?
So every seed has a little enclosure, a pod that it grows in. So when you can jiggle it, they're ready.
Okay, so like a wheat sheath.
Huh?
That wheat sheath, we'll call it a sheath. Is you're saying I can go up there and I can shake it and I'll hear seeds rattling inside of it?
Yeah. They'll dry enough to where you can hear them. You don't want to do it. You can tell, and it's pretty much for any kind of plant that you're growing. You'll find that the seeds tends to dry up, and then the plant. That means that the seed itself is about the right stage. You can jiggle it a little bit.
Basically, if the outside sheath is dry, is dried out, then it's ready to be picked and hung up so that the seed inside can fully dry.
Usually, if the outside seed is dry enough, you're almost ready. You don't have to let it dry out because it's already dried enough. There's a stage before that. You have to learn when the plant, the seed itself has matured, not dried. That's the difference. So when it has matured already on the plant, there's a time to pick it, and then you can dry it, and then you'll know when to take the stuff off.
Is there a general rule for that specific time on a variety of different plants, Andy?
Every variety is a little different. It depends on that. Corn will take longer, for example. Mary Jane would take a certain amount of time. Peppers, they're all different. It's
not about the time, Andy. Is there a specific on what a person should be looking for that, to be, at that point where it's going to switch to, too dry, and I want to take it at this point, is there a general rule for all plants?
Here's the thing. So I was just going to say is that it depends on the seeds itself, the size of the seeds, whether it's really, really tiny, minuscule, some of them are so tiny you can't really see them, or larger size seeds. So they're all slightly different. And so you have to learn to tell when they're first matured enough, and secondly, when you can start separating them to store. And so it's going to be different, especially if you're buying. Well, you can go buy one variety, say of peppers, from the same pepper, variety of pepper from around the world. But because they're different varieties, they're going to be different sizes and different, right? There'll be different sizes and different shapes. They're all not going to be even close or identical to each other.
Well, I think this is the right answer. Is saving seeds is an art form in itself, because each plant's that little bit different. So
Different.
you need to
Yeah,
learn
yeah.
the plants you want to save.
Right.
And I'm trying to get general ideas for you guys out of Andy, and it's really hard to
Just
have a
remember,
general idea.
it has a lot to do with what part of the world you live in, how long it's going to take you, and it has to do with the time. Some seeds, some plants will grow several times throughout the year. So different parts of the year may be hotter than another time. If you're going indoors, you just have to. It's like cooking. You have to learn when the plant says, "Okay, that these seeds are ready," and then you have to learn when the seeds are saying, "Okay, we're dry enough to go." But at
Yeah,
the same time, in storage, in terms of storing it, you you have to. It's not like you really want it to be super dry,
mm,
but you do want it to be dry. So that's another story too, because you could seriously destroy your seeds, and when you're ready to use it, you got nothing but a powder. You go, oh,
yeah,
I guess it was too dry, right? It'll
yeah,
die.
just a little. Yeah,
It'll dry on you. So that's part of the thing. You have to learn how. And if you, most people when they save seeds, they save from different. Like I have seeds from pine trees. I have seeds from various different types of trees.
right.
From uh, I have some that are called firebird trees, and I have some ancient forest trees, the redwood. And the seeds are very different from each other, and they have different requirements. Some actually you have to scratch them in order to get them to sprout, so you can get them to
Yeah,
soak. Some of
and
nature
you have
are
to
never.
freeze.
Yeah, right. Some of you have to freeze, and some of you even have to. They get burned. That the seed is stuck in a fire. It needs a fire for it to grow. So they're
Yeah,
all kind of radically different things. Uh, if you're dealing with vegetables, you're going to get a basically general idea that they all have to. You're going to find how long does you grow the vegetables. If you do it several times, this plant takes this long to mature and this time be done. So that's part
yeah,
of it too. They all do that on a regular, but that same basis. You say this is 31 days. That's what they tell you.
yeah.
31 days, right? And that means that generally speaking, 31 days from now, that plant will have you usually don't grow it to eat the seeds. See, you usually grow it to eat the
Exactly.
plant.
They're growing it to eat. Like your lettuce, it will grow and you can eat it in 30 days. But if you want seeds and seeds you can save, you're looking at probably 60 to 90 days.
That's right. It's usually if you start to eat the plant when it has seeds, like lettuce, it's already bitter. The plant changes and it becomes bitter, so you can't really eat it. I
Yeah.
think that's done on purpose so that the plant saves the seeds, right? They won't eat
Yeah.
the animals won't eat it and won't eat the seeds. So they're all different, but basic. So you have to learn. Corn takes a long time to dry and to be ready to use again. Some of the things you can't even grow it in the same season. You have to let it dry over time for the next season, and
Yeah.
that's how
Well,
far.
what the vision I have in my head is, in movies, especially, the witch or whatever, and you walk into her house and it's all, seeds hanging and, plants hanging down,
Yeah,
drying out.
yeah,
That's what I get in my head
yeah,
as,
yeah,
as
yeah.
a vision, right?
Right. So when I lived in Gainesville, I lived in a really old hippie house with windows and everything,
Cool.
and that's exactly what you saw. You see, what do they call it? Tails of garlic
Yep. Hanging there. It's like,
hanging
oh
down.
man.
You would see some chamomile wrapped up over there. Hanging. So some things you can hang up if you know that the little pots are not going to break on you. Otherwise, you can't really hang because you got seeds everywhere. But some things they hang on to and it's a lot easier to then separate them. Like garlic.
Yeah.
Garlic will stay on there. And dry up for you.
Yeah.
Usually, you don't dry it for the garlic seed. But people like me, if you grow a good garlic, you want to get garlic seed from it, and basically you leave
Well,
it in the ground.
isn't the ear of garlic, like, I know when we plant garlic, we break the head, and that's the seed inside? Or you're talking about the garlic that has that 3 or 4 inch piece that comes out? It looks like it's more of a seed pod, or what?
No, it puts out a little shoot with a head of seed, a ball of seed.
Okay.
It has a little shoot with a ball of seeds on it, and if you look at each seed, they have a couple, like 4 or 5 little black things. Those are the seeds. And so when it
Cool.
dries up, the wind it goes like this. The wind goes and the seeds goes. So the sheave is basically a wind device that the wind blows the seeds to let land somewhere else.
Yeah.
See, right? Right?
I'm
No,
sorry. I'm reading something
I can
that
see you're looking
Lili's
at
putting
something
here,
over
and it's
there.
like, don't plan anything, woman. Don't do it.
What is it going on?
Oh,
Show me the thing.
Howie's out on Vancouver Island, and we'd like to go out and see him. It's just, you know, right now it's right now. So, but anyway, let's get back to what we were talking
I
about.
don't know what we were talking about. I forget. And I don't
Seeds
even know
and
who you are.
saving seeds, you rotten old bugger. You know, okay, hanging. You're not going to leave them hanging up forever. You're
So
going to
it's
be
been
taking
very
them
good
down. Let's talk about storage. Some of the better
right.
storage
So
ideas.
I have found that in that particular hippie place, it was a really good environment because the house was fairly dry, air
Yeah,
circulated through it, and so I can hang things up to dry, and they can stay up there forever as long as I wanted to use them because they wouldn't go bad. The
yeah,
furthest when I got down to South Florida, it was too humid, too wet, so I had to devise a different way of hanging things up. I could hang them up, so I would do it in the bedroom, air conditioning in the bedroom, or a grow room, a dry room, so an air conditioning will keep it at a certain humidity. Uh, and then when I lived in Boulder, I still had a greenhouse. So the greenhouse is my solution because you can control the humidity of it. So if you were growing some vegetables and stuff, I basically had two greenhouses. One that I grew for vegetables and plants and protect them from the animals. The other one, which
yeah.
I did mainly seeds. I would take the plant that. So if I have a seed that I want to, a vegetable that I want to uh,
Save.
propagate the seed, right?
Yeah,
I wouldn't put all of them in the ground. I would do, and you never put all your seeds at one time. Then you have a whole bunch of one plants. You want to, what do they call it? Stagger the amount that you grow. 4 or 5 years 1 week, and then 4 or 5 years next week, like that. But usually, I would go through. I would leave some of those seeds in containers, in a nice container, instead of in the ground,
yeah.
unless I knew that I could let them grow to seeds in the ground. Because a lot of times you can do that. You should say, okay, that's a really good looking plant. It tastes really good, the leaves and stuff, or whatever it is you eat of it. You can let that grow to seeds and I did that a couple of times, and I would forget to pick them, and they would spread all over the bed. I guess
I did
well,
that with romaine lettuce like I had my aquaponics system, and I grew romaine lettuce out. We loved the flavor of that particular one, and so I've got probably 10,000 seeds or a million seeds, however, because they're just small seeds upstairs that I dried out years ago. But yeah, I just let the plant grow out. The leaves get really bitter the older the plant is, though. So yeah,
yeah.
you want to grow a new one.
So what I did, I learned that a greenhouse is one of the best ways to be able to propagate seeds specifically. You
Yeah,
want to do it rather than haphazardly grow plants and let the seeds grow and maybe have seed.
yeah,
So if you want to be serious about growing, you want to keep notes. You want to say, okay, this year I grew these plants, and this is a seed from that. So you get the seed, because you'd be surprised how many generations you would be doing
oh
this of
yeah.
seeds. And then that's what you want. You want to have a lineage of it, because then you know that this is the best that you can grow for that area of that particular variety. It's sometimes takes 4 or 5 or 6, and what it isn't the lineage of it isn't when you grow something it's acclimated. It's the variety of, so you can have, like in Mary Jane, when Mary Jane has a seeds, all those seeds genetically are different.
Every single one, yeah.
They're different. So you can plant them all. You're going to go, it doesn't look like it comes from the same mother.
Yeah, that's why if you're growing in production facilities, you're growing from a clone off of a mother
A
plant
clone,
to
right?
have that exact
A
same
clone.
flavor. And yeah,
So it's the same principle for any seeds and any vegetables. You may think it'd be the same variety that was grown, but when you plant all the seeds, they're all going to be slightly different. Maybe the same variety, but
yeah,
this one may have more sugar in it. This one may be growing taller. This one
yep,
may be resistant, or I mean, this one may be attacked by whiteflies. Attack this one and they leave them all alone. This is the one they go for.
yep.
So there are a whole bunch of genetic differences also too. That's why you have to go. I don't want the one that's being attacked by the whiteflies. I want this one over here that's laughing away, right? And then
Well,
that's
and
what,
it doesn't matter what you're breeding, whether it's corn, or
yeah,
whether it's tomatoes. It's the same principle behind it all of, you know,
pick.
picking the one that you want
Right.
best. It's like it's hunting for that one specific,
And keep notes so you can
pepper
track.
plant that just like
Keep
burns.
notes so you can track it. So I learned one of the
Yes.
cool things you could do is, they have the genealogy with the parents, and it goes like
Yep.
that to the other parent. That's
The
what you do.
family
If this
tree.
tomato was here, was growing this year, it produced
Yep.
these babies, and then you basically have to be like a scientist. And I have 4 different babies, and those babies produce some more. And if you keep track of it, you'll find that it's really very fascinating, because you can end up with stuff that people will say, "Where did you get that? I want
Yeah.
that. I want to buy." And yeah, you could sell the seeds of it, especially if you run
Yep.
across something really, really interesting. Because I have,
Well,
purple tomato plants, for example, or
yeah.
really black tomato plants, or like the black garlic. People don't know too much about black garlic, but it's the best garlic to eat. Very medicinal. The chef will pay $1,000 for black garlic. It's like, give me that, right? So there are things you can definitely grow for money once you start. Again, it depends where you live at. I could grow more certain exotic plants in Miami than I can in California. I mean, in California, or even in Canada.
Oh, you could grow a lot more exotic plants in the southern latitudes than you can in Canada. I mean,
Yeah, right.
seriously.
Seriously,
Unless
right. Seriously.
you'd have to 100% inside. Like I know a guy in Saskatchewan who actually has a banana tree in his garden, but it's an 100% indoor garden. Okay,
Yeah.
specifically built to have that environment.
That's what I did in Boulder, Colorado. I had a pool. I built a greenhouse around the pool, using the pool as a way to keep it warm. So it was easy to. And outside it'd be snowing, and inside you can see tropical plants growing. They get plenty of sun. The temperature was at mid 70s, so it didn't bother them at all. Because you have to heat the pool anyway, so that was cost the steam to go up. The hot tub was great, but you have to try out different varieties, because some variety is all about the amount of light. That's when I learned that Mary Jane likes different latitudes and a different amount of light. They do very differently. So what I grew in Florida is very different than what I grew in Boulder, Colorado. Because even though the same seeds I would take with me.
I'm going to stop you there, because if anybody doesn't know, on Monday we had a gentleman talking about light, and actually he got it down to the quarter hour on where a plant was flipping. Now it was strain specific, but where a plant was switching from vegetative to a flowering cycle. And it was, well, go watch the episode, guys, because I think you're going to be really shocked on what was talked about and how it was explained. It was a fantastic show.
They're all very light sensitive, and that triggers
all plants are.
And people are too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's very, very interesting. So the bottom line is, it's really good idea to start saving seeds if you haven't done so. If you have a garden, start doing that. But one of the things you really should do is start buying seeds whenever you can find organic seeds anywhere. Start buying, hoarding it. I've been buying seeds from around the world, specifically recently in the last maybe 10 years. Not just Mary Jane seeds, but I would buy tomatoes from China, tomatoes from while I could, And I like the more exotic places, Thailand, and they sell me whatever. Online, you can do so many. There's many places that'll sell it. You don't even have to go anywhere. You can choose from Thailand. I know there's a Mary Jane place you can get things from any part of the world, or I know a exotic fruit tree place. You get fruit trees from anywhere in the world, and start collecting it, because if you're in bad times, you're not going to be able to go buy these seeds. You really want to have your own bank, just your own supply. There's several things you're going to need. Do the composting, take care of the soil, but you really need seeds or even cuttings, because I do a lot of cuttings now. So I work on a farm. So every time these wild blackberries go nuts, I give them a haircut, take them home, root them again, and start growing them again. So so I've never really. I just thought about whether blueberries have seeds or not. You're growing from seeds or you're growing from cuttings. I probably do both. You can do cuttings, and then the berries. If you dry the blueberry, wouldn't that be a seed? There's seeds in it, right?
I think it's got seeds in it. I've never looked that close, but isn't it a lot like a tomato plant with seeds inside?
Yeah, I think those seeds can be dried out. So again, here's a perfect example. You have seeds inside a blueberry thing. You have to dry out the blueberry to get to the seed.
Yeah.
See what I mean? So a lot of plants you may have to dry out long enough to be able to actually use the seed. the same thing when
And
you
that's
have
where hiding it from the birds that want to come and eat those.
exactly right, exactly right. Because the birds would eat, and when they pooped, the seeds were lucky they would grow.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well, and that's okay. So you. I know I keep a lot of my seeds in the freezer. Okay, I just put them in the freezer. They've been sitting there for 10, 15 years now. Some of them is because that's it. The moistures is 99% of the problem. So I'm sucking all the moisture off of them. So there's no biological activity. Is that a good idea, or is it somebody?
The only problem with that is that you have to have, like there's this place in Iceland, or they have the seed bank. It's in the frozen tundra, and so the only issue would be if you have a power outage and a defrost. There goes your seeds. There go your seeds. You have to use them, and a lot of them because you can't refreeze them again.
Okay, yeah. See, and I never even thought of that. Like I've never had the power outage. I've never.
Because you're God. You're God, and you have the power. I know.
I'm lucky, and I only live like 12 miles from a power plant. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So it's really hard. We have power outages, but they don't last that long, and we don't have the hot temperatures you guys do. So it's not as bad here. We can go a day and a half. If we don't open the freezer, you don't have to worry for close to 4 or 5 days. Okay, blueberries do have seeds.
Yeah, they have little
very
seeds.
Small. Yes,
it's the same thing with raspberries and blackberries.
Have you ever done marigolds? Like I would take like a wooden stick, a skewer stick, and get it wet, and then poke the skewer stick into the seed to try to only get one out at a time for planting.
I don't worry
man,
about
it is a pain in the butt.
I don't worry about one at a time. I basically do the general forest concept.
Oh, you just shake the package.
Yeah.
Like 97 flats.
Yeah, one little plant in a little area, and just I call it the forest concept. I do that a lot. Actually, it's a sea of green. It's the same thing with what growing the Jane, but basically it's the same concept. You have a whole. So I grow lettuces in one. So I started doing that with Ann Wigmore. They basically have a tray and they have a whole bunch. You chop up the you eat the babies ones. You should basically chop off the top and you eat those, and then they'll come back again. You keep eating those. So you can do that process too. But when you're growing, you just have to be really super careful in what are we talking about? We were talking about seeds.
We're talking about storing seeds, and somehow we got off topic into something like microgreens or something like that. We were talking about shaking the seeds out and having a whole bunch.
Right. I never concentrate. I could never handle. You can buy this little thing that you put your seeds in, and the little one falls in, and you can open the top and go one seed, one seed.
Have you seen the vacuum ones where you got a flat of 72 spots?
Yeah.
And it's a board with a vacuum attached. It sucks up the seeds into a particular spot. Then you put it over your tray, hit the button, seeds drop, and then you shake more seeds in. Some of the things that gardeners put together, especially commercial. Like it's like, wow, man, who thought that shit up?
Yeah, there's a whole world around seeds.
Planting,
you'll find names,
production.
Well, naming is interesting too. See, so if you grow something several different generations, I would name them differently.
Yeah,
I would give them my own names to it. That's what I do a lot to a lot of them. Like I had some cherry. They were called Cherokee tomatoes. So after about the 5th generation, I used to call them blue babies or whatever I wanted to call them. It could be my own terminology for them.
Yeah, and most of the time it's okay if you're growing, say, like a tomato, and you're plucking one off and you're eating it, and that's the one that just like for you personally, because somebody else might hate the damn thing, but for you personally, you go, oh man, this is wonderful. That's the plant you want to start saving those seeds from.
Very orgasmic.
Yes. Yeah. When it blows your brain because your mouth is like, wow.
And then the following season, when you grow those, you're going to find one or two that just blows you away, that's what you grow. You do it every year. You grow, and a lot of times what I do, I have the table and I said pick, and let the people
Yep.
pick, rather than me, because I can tell because I use a refractometer. Remember, the refractometer doesn't lie. So if you have
Yeah.
a 32 reading, everybody's going to go nuts with that. They're going to say, I want that one. And
Yeah.
so that's one reason why you use a refractometer without even tasting it. You can tell, look at the bricks level on that. And you did the very same thing to all these other plants, but they have different brick readings. That is an indication that the genetics and biology of this one plant is what you want to continue with.
Yeah.
And so
So
I
let's
basically,
get back into
okay.
storage, Andy. We went through the freezer, and you don't really want to do that. So
So
what
you want to,
should a lot of people do? And it depends. Are you living in an area where you have a whole shit ton of moisture, or are you living in an area that's very dry? Is there really going to be a difference, Andy? And tell us what the differences would be.
right, you really want to have, there are many different types of containers you can buy or you can build, or you can basically have a room. So ideal scenario is if
Yeah.
you have a small room that you can keep it at a certain temperature. That means you don't want to really, you don't necessarily need to freeze it, but you do want to get it as cold as possible as you can get it. A lot of people can't maintain a room like a big refrigerator. I had a friend that would store seeds in a refrigerator, but again, the electricity went out. So
Yeah.
in
Now,
the old days,
okay, would it be better to have like an underground room
I was
that
just
you
going to
put
say that,
in
right?
so it
So
stays at a constant temperature?
in the old days, people would dig a big giant basement thing. The basement is the
Yeah.
best place. If you have a basement, then you notice the temperatures year round is also dry. And in there, you can store them in wooden boxes, or you can water. I have mine in a wooden chests. The pirates chests.
Yeah, yeah. So okay, so that's when you put them in paper bags, not plastic Ziploc
Right,
bags, but in
right.
paper bags, and then you would put them in
So
your
what
chest.
I do is
And
I have
store them.
envelopes. I have envelopes. So
Okay.
before I put the seeds in the envelopes, I write them because I used to put the seeds in the
Yeah.
envelope and then write over it. Oh, I can't do that. So you have to name it first, and
Really
then you
hard to
pour
write on there.
the seeds in it. You see, so the seeds is a perfect little environment. But then you have to
Right.
protect the seeds. So you put them in like a place where they hold the envelope in. You have these containers for storage for for the IRS or whatever you're doing. The envelopes filing. So you can file the envelopes. You have the date and the name of it on the outside. Then
Yeah.
those are little boxes that should be stored in the same. They get stored. I have two chests now of seeds in each individual boxes. Some are stored slightly differently in terms of the containers that they're in. Some are
Okay.
like I have something I still have to send to you, but it's in a separate. Certain plants, if they depends if they're expensive enough, can be put into a smaller containers, individual one. You want to have it. So
Yeah.
say you have
Yeah.
individual seeds, you want to save you. So other ones you have enough of them, you can put in an envelope. You don't want to go in any bigger containers because I don't know if too many things you can have billion seeds of, even though that's true with certain vegetables and certain herbs, you're going to get lots and lots of seeds. So the more seeds you can put them in. So the main thing, you want the whole thing to breathe. You want the container to breathe. You want no mold, no moisture to get in because it'll cause all kinds of rotting problems and
Yeah.
fungus and mungus and all kinds of stuff like that. You want it to minimize the exposure to light.
Okay.
Right? You don't
Now,
want
okay,
any.
let's get back to moisture there for a second. So you're putting them in wood, guys. Wood will actually draw the moisture and regulate the moisture. But Andy, do you use these desiccant packs? Like these like I know I use Bovita for cannabis. It keeps it at a certain humidity. Do you use anything like that? Or would you suggest people like just pour in salt or sea salt on the bottom of your crate that you're using to suck
So
the moisture? Because guys, remember I said it earlier, without the moisture you can't have mold, etc., because it can't grow. It has to have the moisture.
So there are many different companies that sell different varieties of things that do exactly that.
Yeah.
Uh, one of my favorites is basically they sell bean bags, so you can buy the beans and they can grow.
Yeah.
You can keep them in the beans. The beans keep it are little small structures. Let it breathe, and
Yeah.
any water get in there, they'll suck it in. And yeah, there's lots of different things that you can use, like baking soda will suck it in. You can have a little bottle of
Okay.
baking soda in the corner there. We'll suck it all in. Diatomaceous earth is really good all by itself. You should sprinkle it on the bottom.
Yeah.
Biochar, believe it or not, you can have a layer of biochar on the very bottom. Any water gets sucked into any moisture will get sucked into it. So you definitely have to, and you can't leave them alone for like forever and come back and see what they're doing. You have to check on them maybe once or twice a year, a couple of times a year, just to make sure no problem. So you'd be surprised how moisture can come in, how mold can start to grow, and then the whole thing's gone.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Because once that mold gets in there, it's done. So
remember, you want to excuse me. The main thing is you don't want to forget about seeds. You want to be using them. You let them dry for a certain length of time and then use them.
Yeah, and then keep new seeds, because seeds will only last so long unless they're in a perfect environment, and that's where we have. I think it's in Greenland where they have the World Seed Bank.
That's what I said.
A special environment.
Right. So, and that's the thing. You're not saving seeds for when the world ends. If you go to heaven with your seeds, you're saving seeds so you can grow them the next generation, maybe next year or the following year. That's what you want. Usually, you want to do them the following year. Every year, you plant what you grew before. It takes a long time to save a variety of seeds. You can just totally do it in house, so to speak. You normally still buying seeds. Do you always want to be buying seeds?
I want to ask you, Andy, and I think it's something that a lot of people should do is, if you want to have 10 plants next year, you want to do have at least 20 seeds or 40 seeds in case something happens in the spring, they die, whatever, you still have some seed that you can use to keep a generation going. Right. You plant all your seeds and you have a frost that kills all your plants.
So what you do is you overlap a little bit. See, you want there's a possibility that you can lose all your seeds, because if you plant them all, they all die. They go through a variety. So you never plant all of your variety in 1 year. So usually the rule is you plant half for this year, leave the other half as a safeguard for the following year, and then you actually grow those. If everything's fine with the new batch, you're getting seeds. Then you have that older variety to grow. So you're always constantly growing. You don't let them go too long. And you're always picking the one you want. So it's a cycle going on. And that's what you want to do. If you let the seeds go for too long, anything could cause them to die. Anything. Even strange frequencies. Well, that's a cool one.
Lillian, they're in Norway is where that seed bank is.
She knows everything. God.
She's really quick on Google, man. Okay,
so listen.
She can spell. Okay, I can't spell. People go, well, you look it up. It's like, okay, well, how do you spell that, man?
Next week we're starting a series. We're going to be covering my chapter. Don't panic. Different chapters of the book. Don't panic. It's organic. So and also too, if you want to get a complimentary copy of the ebook, just go to my website, sign up for the newsletter, say they want the ebook. Then you could go read right along with me. You can also buy the print version of it, and the print version right now it looks like this. See, it's a big giant book. It disappears.
I know, because it's green, and you're using a green screen.
Yeah. See the green. See the green. That's cool. It's in my shirt. So that's the print version of it. The print version is in black and white. You can get the color version, but you have to get it from me. Long story is that Amazon has third-party vendors and they can sell it for whatever price they want. So I don't. One lady called me up and says, "Why $300?" It wasn't me.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So then you can follow through it. Give you an example of what the first chapter is going to be like. The difference is there a difference between organically grown food and chemically grown food? So we'll talk about that a little bit.
That's next week's show, guys.
We have the mycelium intelligence. That's going to be the second chapter. See? Yep. And each one of these are shows. So we have vegetable cooking gardening guide. We have organic fruit tree care, natural tree care, making the organic transition. When is it and how is it important? Why is it important for compost? We have natural disease go. These are
I get to put my 2 cents worth in on each chapter. Oh man, that could be fun, Andy.
Oh yeah, it will be, and so can you guys too. You can just chime right in, because I'm doing an online workshop, but basically we're going to follow the chapters of each book, and then we're going to go. I'm expanding it more, because I wrote this about 20 years ago, so I've gotten down the road a little bit.
Before he knew it's all about the biology.
Yeah.
This book. So
I don't have. I very rarely say biology in this book.
Yep.
So I did
you say microbiology once in a while.
Yeah, I do say microbiology. The
Yeah.
microbes, I say micro. No, I say microbes.
Yeah.
You're the one that has stuck on the biology part.
Because it covers all of it. It's not just
It does.
microbiology,
It
it's
does.
macrobiology, it's quantum biology, but it's
Yeah,
all biology.
it does.
Period.
So one of the
Yep.
chapters is "Don't Panic, It's Natural." So we'll talk
Uh-huh.
about what's going on with the word natural, and then we have the Invisible Gardener 7 R's. So I have 7 R's. I talked to you about. You know what the 5 R's are? Too late.
No,
Reduce, reuse,
I know nothing, Andy. I'm a blank slate just waiting to be
reduce, reuse,
drawn on.
recycle.
Okay.
Reduce, reuse, recycle. And then
Yeah.
I have 7 of them. So we
Cool.
have we talk about mulch, natural weed control, and this my next book is going to be talking more along the title. I love to be able to say, Mother Nature's medicine, right? That would be so cool. So you have to say yes or no. I don't care if you say no. I'm going to put it on there because that's
Mother
what I
Nature's
learned.
medicine. I like that because
That's
you
what I
know,
learned. Then
yeah,
we have natural pest control. By the way, I have a book called Natural Pest Control: Alternatives to Chemicals for the Home and Garden. It's an ebook. You can get that free too if you want it. And then we have
okay.
natural ant control. It's called Dances with Ants. In the book, they'll say the Dances with Ants inside the book. So there's a book inside a book. It's called Dances with
Well,
Ants.
it's 2 books in one if you're
Yeah, it's
guys
called
want to
Dances
get
with
it.
Ants, and it's not about killing ants.
Yeah.
Remember,
Yeah.
when people come to me and say you have an ant problem, I tell them you don't have an ant problem, you have a soil problem. Right? And then we have all about snails, and it's the same thing. You don't have a snail problem, you have a soil problem. Heirloom tomato and melon seeds have germination, so store for the next season. There you go. So that's what you have to do. It's so easy to store the seeds instead of throwing them away. And you'll find that each time you grow them, you're going to go, oh my God, look at it. And your neighbors are going, can I have some of those? And that's what you
Billy
want to do.
says Mother Nature's gift to humanity.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah. So I have a natural flea and tick control, underground pest control. We have a chapter on natural rose care, uh, foliar spraying, lawn care, how to reduce water. So I changed it to how to reduce 25 to 50% water in 2 years.
Cool.
So,
So guys,
and,
just to let you know, Andy's going through his book. We're
yeah,
going to
the
start
chapter
next week. We're going to start going through it chapter by chapter. And if you
each
guys
week.
want to get a copy, an online copy that you can follow along, go to invisiblegardener.com, sign up for Andy's newsletter so you can get your free copy of the
Text me.
PDF download.
Right. What you do is you text me in there. There's a link. Click here for the book. It automatically pops up as a email that you sent to me. If you was to send me email, it would be like 40,000 emails. I'll never find it. So this will avoid it because it comes from my computer right into the inbox. You should say, I saw this show, name of the show, send me my ebook. And you can even say, send me my free ebooks, and I'll send you all of them together because there's about 4 or 5 of them that I can just click on and send it to. It won't be that way for long because I'm setting up a store where I'm actually be selling these books and the new version of it. But this way you'll have the chapter to go through yourself when we talk about it. And then that's the time you want to ask questions. That's the time you want to bring up that subject that we talk about. And it doesn't cover here the worm farming. So that's going to be one of the new book will have that as part of the chapter, worm farming.
So, I think it's basically going to be audible, cake, because we're going to be doing it live.
Yeah, we're doing it live. What happens is that when I do it, I have a device so that'll make an audio version of it. So a lot of times I do my music, but I also have outlet for just audio alone. So I send those off as well. But we also produce these on YouTube and stuff. So you have the video version of it. And we do it live so you guys can talk to us.
Okay. Andy, love you, brother. We're supposed to have Alex on, the guy talking about water and his creation, where he actually can water over 100,000 plants and can help to guide the plant using water stress. So that's coming up on Monday on the Soil Matters. It's a new system. It's very, very simple. And the parts you can literally 3D print at home to make yourself spare parts. That's how user-friendly and gardener-friendly this watering system is. So that's on Monday. I'm not sure what the ladies are talking about tomorrow on Chiropractic is sexy, but check it out tomorrow, guys. The ladies, that's our own physical bodies, the health, and that's part of the whole system. It's not just plants, it's these physical bodies because we're made from cells, and that's all about the biology. So I
Bags
keep
of
my
water.
beef steak, tomatoes, seeds,
Bags of
and
water.
plant every year. Was that
Yeah.
Andy?
No, I said bags of water. And he says you
Yes,
think
we're
they're
bags of
different,
water.
but he's saying all these tomato seeds are the same. So that just basically means that genetically they were grown that way. So maybe they could be genetic. You'd be surprised how many vegetables are genetically modified for the good. You know, that way too. It doesn't have to be bad. That's what you're doing, you know, when you're picking the best tomato, the best plant, you're genetically modifying them already. So some of them are so strong. Some varieties are so strong you're going to get the same varieties no matter what you do. So that's the but eventually they'll be
garlic. Plant garlic under it so it tastes like garlic. Change
yeah,
the
yeah.
whole system.
Hey guys, I gotta go. Take care now.
Hey guys, see you now. See you soon.
Bye. Happy growing.